All right, hello everyone. I decided that I'm going to do a video lecture for for our first unit, which is geography, our first lesson. Just so you guys can kind of pause it and go at your own pace. I'm gonna go through it kind of fast, but that's because I did the video, so you guys have more time. When I did it with my first class, I felt like I was just flying through it. So this way you guys can really take your time, take good notes, go back and watch it, and then of course if you have any questions you can email me. Um, but you should have your Cornell notes out. And again, these notes are for you. They're to help you study, help you, pay attention in class. So however you want to do your notes, that works best for you. I encourage that. Just know that there is a rubric on Schoology that kind of explains what I'm looking for when I grade, and there's elements that you do have to have. So as far as style goes, add your own flair to it, but you do need to have certain elements, which I will talk more about in class. But an example for the essential question and review question, just so you guys know, an essential question could be anything like, what are the 5 themes of geography? You want to encompass something about the whole lesson. And then a review question could be, what are the 2 types of location? And something a little more detailed. But today's lesson, the 5 themes of geography. So we have location, physical features, human environment interaction, movement, and regions. So we're going to go through each one of these. So 2 types of location. Location just being like, where are we at this point? So the first type is absolute. So absolute is a latitude, which is horizontal, and longitude, which is vertical, north to south, and then latitude is west to east. And is a global location, which is a very specific point, on the map or in the world. But also absolute location can be an address. So for Washington, D.C., an absolute location could be 39 degrees north and 77 degrees west. That's that latitude and longitude. But absolute location can also be the White House is located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So there's kind of 2 ways you can do absolute location, but the point of it is like if you were to drop a pin on the map, that would be that absolute location. The second type of location is relative. So this is kind of a more generalized location. It describes by landmarks, time, direction, or distance. So I'm definitely the type of person when I give directions, it's more relative location. I'm like, take a right at the gas station and then take a left at the donut shop, okay? But that's definitely more general and may not make sense to a lot of people. But it's also like saying Washington, D.C. is located at the east coast of the United States. It's a general location. Australia is located south of Indonesia. It's a general location. It's not like dropping a pin and having that specific location on a map. So those are the 2 types of location and the first theme of geography. The second theme is physical features. What is it like there, and what kind of place is it? So 2 types of physical features as well. Number 1 is human characteristics, or culture, customs, language, beliefs, religion. That's why I have a picture of people praying right here. This is, what is it like there? What do they believe? How many people live and work and visit a place? Is it super populated? Is there a lot of tourism? Is it mostly locals? What's the environment like as far as the people and culture go? And the second characteristic is physical. So what does the place actually look like? Does it have mountains? Does it have rivers? What's the climate like? Is there vegetation, wildlife? What's the soil like? So that's anything, like I said, from a forest to a river. So we have human characteristics and physical characteristics for the physical features and themes of geography. Next is human environment interaction. So there's really 3 ways that humans interact with the environment. But how do we interact with the environment, and how do we affect one another? So the first thing we do is we depend on the environment, whether that be for transportation, drinking water, you know, having cargo ships going across the ocean to deliver goods, things like that. We depend on bodies of water for a lot of different things in our lives. And not just bodies of water, we depend on a lot of natural things to help us survive and live. We also modify it. So this is with heating and air conditioning. You know, if it's really, really hot outside, we're cranking the AC up to cool off inside and vice versa. So we are able to modify the environment. We also adapt to it. So if it is really cold outside and we don't have the option to stay inside all day in our warm homes, we bundle up, just like if you guys have seen the movie The Christmas Story, we bundle up to stay warm and adapt to the environment, or whether that be if it's warm and we're wearing shorts and t-shirts. So it just depends. Also, you know, or rain, you wear a raincoat and bring an umbrella, things like that. So we adapt to the environment as well. Next is movement. So how do people and their products move around? There's also 3 types of movement. There's human movement, which, you know, the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Those are how we move, or trucks. How do we as people physically move around the world? Next is how does information move? So phones, computers, email, mail, Schoology for us, newspapers, which might be kind of an old concept or a foreign concept for you guys. And then last is ideas. How do ideas move? How do trends move? How do we learn about trends and things like that? How do fads move from place to place? So there's TV, radio, which is not as big these days, magazines, or even in today's world is, you know, like Instagram influencers sponsoring products or sharing products that they find, you know, all the things are like my favorite Amazon finds and all of that stuff. That's how those trends and fads are traveling in today's world. And then regions. So there's also 3 types of regions. Regions are areas that share some common characteristics, but the 3 types are, number 1 is formal. So like the actual boundaries that are drawn, defined by, you know, states, countries, cities, defined by the government or administrative boundaries. So you can see right here that this is clearly the boundary of Texas. That is a formal region right here. But regions can also be defined by similar characteristics. So such as the Corn Belt, which I have kind of outlined right here. These are the states that are considered to be part of the Corn Belt. Or the Rocky Mountain region, Chinatown, different things like that. Then there's functional regions. So this is, you know, defined by a function. How far in a region does this element function? So that includes newspaper service, cell phone coverage. What else would go in this? Maybe a water tower, like the water tower for Farmers Branch, only functions in a certain radius. So that's functional regions. And last is perceptual regions. This is kind of defined by boundaries marked by people's own ideas. So have you guys ever seen, it's usually a meme, but like how I see the United States, and that's what I have right here. It's like, you know, everything to the west I just think of as Los Angeles. The middle, I have no idea what's going on. Northeast is, I just think of New York. You know, southeast, I think of Disney World, and in the middle, where Texas and Oklahoma, I think, you know, yeehaw, whatever. So that's this map down here on the right. Just people's ideas or opinions about where regions or boundaries are. So in order to help you guys remember the 5 themes of geography, there's the acronym called Mr. Help. So M for movement, R for regions, HE for human environment interaction, L for location, and P for place/physical features. So Mr. Help is here to help you remember the 5 themes of geography. So this is definitely something you want to write down, get familiar with the acronym, and know that Mr. Help is here to help you remember those 5 themes. All right. Now we're going to talk about 6 types of maps. When I first did this, I had kind of everyone look at it for 30 minutes, 30 seconds and kind of just look at the map and be like, what do you see? What are the features that you see? What do you think the purpose of this map is? And so I still encourage you guys, as I flip through each of the 6 maps, to pause the video for a second and just look at the map and see and kind of think about what you're looking at. But the 6 types of maps are political, physical, topographic, climatic, economic, and road. So for a political map, it's not always necessarily an election map or a map to show results. It's also to show political boundaries. So the boundaries or borders of a state, of countries, and things like that. So that's what this one up here is. This is kind of like a normal, just political map showing you guys information. And then down here is an election map, but an election map is a type of a political map. So, again, I want you guys to kind of pause at each map and just kind of look at it. But features for this, you know, they're colorful, they're showing results or boundaries. So features, you know, they have political borders, cities. It looks like they have some major highways. Maybe they, like I said, they have results, and they're usually pretty colorful. But the purpose is to either show boundaries or show other political units or election results. I saw one political map when I was kind of trying to find examples for you guys that showed the different types of government in countries in Europe. So political maps are pretty diverse and they can do a lot of things. Next is a physical map. Physical map. Again, go ahead and pause here and look at it for a little bit. But some features of a physical map is to show the natural features of an area. So you can see right here these rivers. So here's the Brazos, here's the Red River. So this green area is low elevation, you know, because it's closer to sea level. So low elevation, and then as we go up through Texas, this kind of brown reddish color is higher elevation. Okay, so physical maps can show the changes in elevation. They can show oceans. You know, a big blue blob on a map usually means a body of water. So we have the Gulf of Mexico right here. So oceans, plains. We have the Edwards Plateau right here, and things like that. So the purpose of this map is to show landforms and kind of the natural landscape of Earth, or in this case, the natural landscape of Texas. Next is a topographical map. This one looks quite different than the other ones. Again, go ahead and pause. But some features here are we have peaks and valleys. We also have elevation, and the elevation is shown by these contour lines. So these are called contour lines. And if I follow this line, it is the same elevation all the way as I follow this specific line, okay? When lines are more spread out, that means the elevation, it's a slower change in elevation from one contour line to the next. When they're really, really close like this, that means it's a steep change in elevation, whether that mean decreasing or increasing in elevation. But these are used for, you know, people who are camping, people who are hunting, urban planners trying to develop a neighborhood, or anyone that's building. You want to know kind of what the ground looks like, and this is what a topographical map does. It shows the shape of Earth's surface. All right, that's the purpose of the topographical map. Next is climatic, which, you know, kind of self-explanatory in the name, but some features here are, it's usually very colorful, kind of showing a gradient of some, whether that be a gray gradient or a rainbow gradient here, showing features such as precipitation, any type of weather, wind, cloud coverage. Here it's the average annual precipitation, starting with a lower amount in the red and a higher amount of precipitation in the blue. The purpose of this, again, is to show the weather, temperature, or climate of an area, just to show information. If you want to know how much rain Texas gets, then that climatic map is your go-to.